different people in Bachelor Nation reached out to me and they're like, are you going to Paradise? Like, where is your mind at on it? Like, I don't really want to go, and I don't think I'd want to go if you're not going to be on the beach. And so I'm like, this is so calculated.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching this episode of BachMakers. Make sure to
like,
comment,
and subscribe.
Thanks for watching. Keep watching. Hello everyone, welcome back to BachMakers, presented by Good Time Media. I'm Wyatt, that's Michael, and today we are joined by the first member of Joey's cast to be on this show exclusively, the first ever selection to the Wise Gal team, and arguably the worst fantasy football player of all time. Autumn is here. Autumn, welcome to the show.
Correct. All the above. True statements. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's an honor to have you, especially for me, as you are the number one Wise Gal of all time. So I don't like to make these interviews about us. So I do want to ask you, though, because the Wise Gals are going through a little bit of a crisis right now. We just lost this past season. We're going through an identity crisis. Michael did win. So I want to ask you, you're the source. You are the number one Wise Gal. What does it mean to you? What does that mean to be a Wise Gal? Wow,
that's such a hard-hitting question, Wyatt. I think right now, even though, this season wasn't your win, I think every comeback is greater than the setback. And so I feel very confident in being a Wise Gal now till the end of time. It's an honor to be on your team. Respectfully, Michael, I didn't really pay much attention to your teams or anything. I just paid attention to Wyatt.
Let's go.
That's fine.
That's loyalty.
That was a down year for us anyway. We'll be back. And we did.
It happens. You did. Mm-hmm. Wyatt, maybe choose better next time. You can consult me. It's terrible at fantasy football, but maybe decent at drafting reality TV show. Maybe.
You might have to help on my Paradise draft, maybe. And we can talk about Paradise in a second here. But
okay.
Did you watch Grant's season at all?
A little bit. Most of the time I was on a flight whenever the show was airing. And I don't have Hulu. My parents do, and it's on my TV at home, but I'm never home, and they're not going to give me their login info at my age. So no, I didn't really watch. I just saw everything at social media recaps, whatever was being posted on TikTok or Instagram. Really, that's as high level as it gets. Or my sister is a huge fan of the show, and she'll call me and talk to me about, well, why is this going on, and why is so and so still there? And so she was my little spark notes on this season.
So we're still reeling from the finale last night, so we're a little off our game because it was kind of intense.
Okay, I do think it's insane, and because I got tea from girls that were not in that season, but from Daisy and Rachel, obviously telling me stuff from when they were going in with the girls and just some of the things that they had heard. It was super, super surprising, and they were super. They were equally as shocked as Latia was.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot that happens behind the scenes.
We
got a lot of conversations that we don't see, and I don't know.
Which part was
Grant's happy? Grant's happy. That's all.
Yeah. So which part was most surprising? I would is it that he ended up choosing Juliana, or that they're still together after the whole stuff that just happened last night? I don't know.
I mean, there's no way after everything that happened last night, they would just be oh, nope, I'm done. Even though that's what all these girls on social media are saying of oh, if I was Juliana, I would dump him, seeing all of that, because I think from a viewer standpoint, and when you're actually living it in the moment, there are so many conversations, y'all said, that you don't see, and no one will ever see, and it's very possible Grant said the exact same thing to Juliana, but nothing was ever shown of that either. And so I would love to have been a fly on the wall in those rooms and privy to those conversations, but I don't know, and I feel bad. There's no way I could actually be someone that would go far in the show, because everyone has an opinion about it. Imagine being final two. you know?
Yeah,
And like
you weren't that far away though.
I
I mean, you were
I didn't even have a one-on-one. I was so far away. I
which
was
is a
the
shame.
narrator.
That's a
I was
damn
the person.
shame.
I was quite literally, I think, like the personality hire. I think they're like, we need another girl from the Midwest. Who can we? There we go. We'll pick her. And so that's how I feel. Like I remember, not to go on a tangent, but like Daisy and I were roommates the entire time, and we would just like lay in bed in our hotel room and like look over at each other, and I would be like, "This is nuts! Like this is nuts that we're here doing this." And like it's so normal. And then I remember at one point I was like, imagine just like being the second runner up, like the girl he doesn't choose. Like that would be so embarrassing. And Daisy's like, I know, like wouldn't that be so embarrassing? And then it was Daisy.
Oh man.
Did you talk to her after the fact and like?
Oh yeah.
Like, remember when we were talking about that?
Oh, yeah, she was actually the one that like brought it back up to me. She's like, "Do you remember?" And it was whenever we were in Spain. Like whenever we had this conversation laying in bed, and she's like, "Do you remember when we were laying there? Like, imagine being like the person he doesn't choose when you get that far to the end." I'm like, embarrassing. And then it was her.
Brutal. But it worked out for Daisy in the end. She's got Thor.
Thor, like literally power couple. I feel like
Thor.
they're gonna be the next like Disney movie, like Daisy and Thor. Well, I guess there's already like a Thor technically, but like,
yeah,
they could have their little.
But Daisy's a Disney name. I agree with that.
Oh, 100%.
I actually met Daisy, well, like very randomly in Chicago. It was like the craziest thing ever. Like so embarrassing of a story. But I was just like waiting for my sister because she was visiting me. And I was outside of a restaurant and I see a group of people walk out. And then like suddenly like I see like a person that I think I'm like, whoa, that person looks familiar. I look up, I'm like, that's a cochlear implant. That's Daisy Kent. And I was like, holy shit, like, what do I do? Do I go up to her? And I saw Thor walk by too. And I didn't say hi to Thor, which I regret. But
no, tell her what you said, Mike. Tell her the line.
I was like, what's up, Daisy? Like literally like that.
You
Two hands in there.
Like, just like homies,
Michael from BachMakers.
Yeah, I was like, I'm Michael from BachMakers because she followed us on TikTok like the day before this happened, like the day before I met her.
Really?
And I was like, she's gotta think that's creepy. She must think that I'm like waiting outside this freaking restaurant for her because out of all the restaurants in Chicago, it was crazy. But
maybe she was following you.
Maybe she was, honestly, because we had that.
Should we call her? Should we ask her?
Yeah, we should ask her. Well,
no, that's crazy. Last or 2 weekends ago, she lives in Vegas now. And Thor's cousin is a NASCAR driver, and my brother's company has a car, and so they were at the NASCAR race, like down by like all the pit stops. And he calls me and he's like, "Is Daisy in Vegas?" And I was like, I mean, she lives in Vegas. And I was like, hold on, I have her location. Like, let me just check and see. And like their dots were like right next to each other. And I was like, yeah. And I just hear him go, "Hey, is your name Daisy?" And she's like, "Yeah." And he was like, "I'm Autumn's brother." And so I was like, she's literally everywhere. Like, I feel like if you just like want to see her, she just like appears and it's like
Disney princess.
Literally, Disney princess. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So your limo entrance was correctly predicted by Wyatt. We do our PowerPoint days, and Wyatt gave you the title of most likely to use their name in a pun for their entrance, right? That was the name of the
and
award.
I crushed it.
Yeah, and he got it right. What were the backup plans, or was it only that I'm going to use my name as a pun?
That was really it, because I was like, I'm not doing something that I wouldn't do in normal life. And like me throwing the leaves, not my idea. I was like, you need something more. And I was like, okay. And then one of the producers, Parisa, and then Stephanie, they were like, you should like have just a bunch of leaves and just throw them. And I was like, we'll see. And then like, you should do it. I was like, okay, I'll do it. Like it's fine. And so no, that was really the one thing, because I remember like flying to LA and thinking like, what am I gonna do on night one? Like, what am I gonna do on my limo entrance? I didn't want to do anything tennis related, because I was like, that's cliche, that's a given. And I was like, something that would make me stand out, because my biggest fear, I was like, I don't want to go home night one, which is what everyone says, right? And like the few people that knew I was going, they were like, there's no way you go, like, there's no way you'd go home night one. And I was like, that is what everyone's friends and family are telling them. And like, people go home. And so I was like, maybe I'll do something like that. And so I had just thought about like the time in my life when I had dating apps and people that would do like a layup with my name. And I was like, okay, I can work with this. And so, yeah, unfortunately, Wyatt, you were correct. I did use my name.
Yeah. Well, I know my team well. What can I say?
You do.
Coach. Yeah.
Basic. I think I'm the, like, you look up basic white girl in the dictionary, I feel like I'd pull into it.
No. None of that. None of that self-doubt talk.
No,
None of
just
that.
kidding. Okay.
No, you're a wise gal. That raises you above all.
True.
There you go.
I need to like make that my like mantra every day. You know, it's like, I'm so goated. I'm a wise gal. Yeah. Maybe we should have a pledge.
Oh, I like that. Like you're a founding mother. You can write the pledge if you want. Like you are the number one.
Listen, I may not write it, but I will tap. Oh my gosh, words are so hard. I will chat GPT that. Okay. I will have it create a nice little pledge of allegiance for us, or like, I don't know.
Or like one of those sorority like gang signs.
Yeah.
For like 80.
Yeah, like as a Tayo, and so this is what mine was.
Yeah. Or we can have like a handshake like fraternities have. Like, so if we ever run into each other in the wild, like you and all the wise guys, and just handshake. I like this. I like what we're doing here, Mike.
I think we could do something like that. Yeah.
The funny thing is, I'm not joking. I want that pledge, and I will make all the. I'll say it before every draft.
He'll have it by the time this comes.
I'll have it printed out.
Imagine like,
back there.
Like a purge or some type of like inauguration, just like reading it before you begin everything. I mean, like, we have a Paycom pledge at work. It's kind of creepy.
That's pretty like
culty.
Yeah, it's pretty culty.
A little bit.
A little. Everyone drinks a green Kool-Aid there.
Yeah, there you go. So you meet Joey, and everyone loves Joey. Everyone falls in love with Joey. America falls in love with Joey. I want one thing. Like, give me an ick from Joey. I want one bad thing. They're like, all right, he's not perfect. He can't be this perfect child.
Oh, that's such a good question. I think
basically say something mean about Joey. That was my question.
He was in Pike.
He did work for a competitor of my company, and I'm just being like, because I looked him up on LinkedIn, because I didn't watch the show before going on it, and I was just kind of like, okay. But no, like a real ick of Joey, like, I don't know if he necessarily ever stood up with like straight posture at the time. Like I didn't exude like, I don't know, like looking at him compared to like how Jesse Palmer stands. You know, Jesse is like, some may argue a robot.
A hot robot.
So no, but I think like while we were actually filming the biggest ick, whenever you would go and talk to Joey and like there'd be another girl's lipstick on his face or something, and like you're just like, because there's no breaks. There's no breaks in between, like very few breaks in between. And so it's like you steal someone and you go in and you're just like, you were definitely just making out with someone, because I can see it all over. So that was always just kind of a moment.
That's fair. So his ick is that he made out with girls.
That he pulls too much.
Damn it. It's still perfect. Gosh. Can't wait.
Well, I mean, if anything, that's kind of on all of you guys, on all the girls, for wearing lipstick that stays on Joey.
Don't put this on the girls, Mike.
What? No. If you think about it, I mean, well, Joey's not putting the lipstick on himself.
No. You're right. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I mean, I didn't really spend that much time with him. So like, I didn't really, if I maybe spent a whole day with him, I would maybe have an actual like ick for it, but nothing like more than that.
Fair enough.
Sorry.
We'll get Kelsey on at some point. I bet she has a laundry list.
Oh, I'm sure she has a ton.
Yeah.
I'm sure she has a ton.
So during like those middle weeks after you survived night one and everything, a lot of the drama, at least early on, revolved around Sydney and Maria. Did it like actually feel that way in the house, or was that kind of just, I don't know, shown up by the producers and kind of blown out of proportion?
Yeah, I mean, I think like up until a certain a certain time, like at first when it was very fresh and new, of course people were a little bit on edge and just like they weren't like super friendly to each other, but they weren't just like looks could kill with another. Like they like kept their space and everything throughout all of it. And I know a lot of us that weren't really involved in the drama were just kind of on the outskirts, outside looking in, just like, wait, what is going on? Like it took someone explaining to me like 7 or 8 times what exactly had happened for me to even understand, like, wait, like I'm hearing this right. It was because of a comment about an age. And I remember just being like, this is the dumbest freaking thing ever, ever. And I was very vocal about that the entire time. I was like, we are grown women. Like, why are we arguing about this? Like, this is so, and like, you're just consistently asked, right? About like, well, what happened? And to have the conversation and like, we all need to hash it out. And after a certain point, when we have the same conversation 7, 8, 9 times, it's just like, it's enough to make anyone just, snap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there a storyline or moment that didn't get shown that you thought was totally going to be on the show and it just like they cut it? Or something you wish you was on there?
Ooh, something I wish that was on there. Honestly, I wish they would have shown how much KFC they made us eat that day whenever it was a pool party.
The KFC party.
Amount of I have not eaten KFC to this day. Like,
Wait, how did they make you eat it? They like made you
like, because you're filming and they're like, oh, like you do like your ITMs, like your interviews, and they're like, you're still eating it, and then they're getting B-roll, and like you're eating, you're just all, they're like, oh, like film this and eat this, and like in swimsuits. We already couldn't work out, and so then you're feeding us KFC, and it's a pool party there's no party, there's not even music. Like that was like cruel and unusual punishment for sure. Like, that was so bad. And even that day, just like I wanted to have a pool party so bad. That's what I cared about. I got to swim in the Bachelor Mansion pool one time.
Oh, that's a travesty.
Wow.
One time. Yeah, it sucked.
How do those interviews work throughout the day? Because I've always wondered that, and especially on like one-on-one dates, which sorry, I know you can't really speak on, but sorry, not
if you think I'm a loser.
But like how does that work?
Either.
They just like pull you one by one, like, hey, come chat. And how long are you really like sitting there asking questions? And then the questions they ask, are they like, do you have to like rephrase the question back to them? You know what I'm saying? I don't know how that works, but it always feels like you are.
Kind of. And like, honestly, it really just depends. And I don't know if like I can actually say this because it like technically talks about like what goes on with the production and everything. But you don't have to rephrase like the question within it. They want you to be like specific because like you might be filming something later that like maybe didn't happen right in that moment. And so like for a refresher for you of like what you would need to be reminded of like, oh, this happened or I said this at one point in time. But it really like some of those conversations and like girl chats are 25, 30 minutes long. Others are like very, very short. It just depends on like if you're giving enough, interviewee feedback, giving enough context, and you're not just like, yeah. So like a couple word answers within it. And I went to school for broadcast journalism, and so I was always just
yapping.
Yeah. And just so what do we think about this? And yeah, but a lot of times, like, and some of the girl chats really are like very authentic conversations that are happening because you're always mic'd up and like there's always going to be someone that's listening to the combos that you're having. There would be times like if I was saying something that like I did not want producers to like know that I was saying, I would like tap my mic or I would scratch right where, because your mic is taped on you, right? I would like scratch where like right by my mic so they couldn't pick up like what it was I was saying. And so I would kind of like whisper to someone if I wanted to say something that I'm like, I don't want this to be used against me, but and so that was like a little sneaky trick for sure. Cause yeah, it's like Big Brother. They're always watching. They're always listening. If you're crying,
got it.
They're like, go, 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 go.
I heard people talk about that on like Love Island, like that whole trick. So that's why I knew that.
That's smart trick. Last question, kind of about the Joey season. When you left, and so obviously you're close with Daisy, did you think in the back of your head, like, I think it's Daisy? Or did you know, was there like kind of chatter like, hey, Kelsey's probably going to be that person?
I thought it was Daisy. And here's why. Not even because like Daisy and I were so close and like things that she had said. A lot of it was like I never really saw Joey and Kelsey together. Like I was on one group date that Kelsey was on, and it was like the paint date. And I guess technically when we were beat bopping around in Spain before she went on her one-on-one, but like I never really saw them together. Whereas like Daisy had the first one-on-one with Joey, and then we had a group date together, and it was like the or like that group date after her one-on-one where we did like the tennis open, the Bachelor open thing. And like just seeing the way, and like Kelsey wasn't there, so seeing the way Joey looked at Daisy, it was just like a bright gleaming like look in his eye. And so because I never really saw him and Kelsey together and like what that might have looked like, I thought it was Daisy for sure. And so obviously whenever the show ended and I found out from her like it's not me, I was just like, which then brings us back to, hey, remember whenever we had that conversation of like how embarrassing it would be to be the second runner up? That was me. That was circle. Yeah, and so I did think it was Daisy. I think a lot of people thought it. I mean, obviously the whole world thought it was.
We did.
Yeah.
Daisy. And so I was like a little shocked, but like there was still so much time that went on from whenever I left to the end that I was like, okay, like I guess it makes sense too. It was still like halfway through whenever I left. But yeah, I was equally as surprised as everybody else whenever I found out.
All right, so now let's get to the Paradise talk. So because you're on the show, I'm guessing that Paradise is a no for you this summer. And if so, is that a you decision, or is that kind of mutual, or is that on
kind of both? Kind of both. Like obviously, like producers have reached out as they do, trying to determine, and like before you like officially get casted, they're already going to have like the storylines of things that they're going to want to tell. And so actually before we all had gone to LA for Rachel's birthday was like the week that everyone is getting like the text and the initial phone call with the producer that's leading it, and to just like have conversations and like make your list, like who do you want to see on the beach, who do you not want to see on the beach. And I can talk about this because NDAs and stuff haven't gone out for Paradise yet, but like they reached out. I like sent my list of people like, okay, if I were to go, because they are like, are you interested? And I'm like, I mean, it's not a no, it's not like a hard yeah, but like I'll entertain the conversation, right? And so they're like, make a list of people that you like, guys you'd want to see on the beach, make a list of guys you don't want to see on the beach, same with like girls that you do, girls that you don't. And I didn't have like a list of girls that I did or didn't want to see on it because I'm like, I'm too smart for you guys. Like I'm not. Yeah. Also, like I didn't have beef with anyone. Like I had no beef with anyone. So I'm like, I don't care who's on the beach or not. I liked everyone in a very unique way. And then there are things about everyone that I also didn't like. And so that and so I sent my list. I'm like, oh, this is a great list. Da da da. Like, we'll be reaching out. So then one of the other producers reached out and they were like, hey, we're going to like begin the process. Like, I'll connect with you in a couple of weeks. And then like I didn't hear anything. But like everyone, like all the girls that have been in communication with producers have texted me, like, are you going? I know you weren't really sure. And I was like, haven't heard anything. I don't think so. And then a bunch of guys that got, I guess, the invite started messaging me on Instagram. And like, I'm not kidding, 3 different people in Bachelor Nation reached out to me and they're like, are you going to Paradise? Like, where is your mind at on it? Like, I don't really want to go and I don't think I'd want to go if you're not going to be on the beach. And so I'm like, this is so calculated. And because it was like literally in a matter of 10 days that these 3 people reached out to me and like all said it. And they're all like, you're the number 1 person on my list. One of those people was a person that I was like, I don't want to see you on the beach if I were to go, but I'm
I want to ask so bad, Autumn. I want to know. You don't. I will never ask you to give names, but are they friends of the program? Do you know?
What do you mean?
Are they friends of BachMakers? That you're aware of?
Like who got invites?
The people.
We have a lot of friends, Wyatt.
That I don't want. I mean, one of them has been on BachMakers. Once upon a time.
I'll yell at them. No, I'll yell at them. Like we got to keep our friends in order. So.
And so, yeah. But
right.
So it's just so crazy. And I was like, okay.
Mike and I both.
I got it.
Clocked that one.
I clocked that one.
And so, but the other 2 from Jen season.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is interesting. And so I remember like talking to my sister and one of the Instagram DMs, it was like voice memos, like, no, can't screenshot it. Right. And I was like, that's smart. And I was just like, interesting. And I think for me, like, that's actually what I needed to make me think like, okay, this is not something that I want to do. I think at the end of the day, like I'm like, all 3 of you have had up until this point to like reach out to me if you actually thought like all these wonderful things about me. And like if it was like truly something genuine, you would pursue me when there aren't cameras in front of us and we're not mic'd up. And so like that's exactly what I needed to have happen for me to be like, yeah, I'm not going on the beach because I just don't want to be used for people to like further their social media influence and to like further grow their following. And that's candidly like how I feel about a lot of the guys in Bachelor Nation. And so it's a no for me. I will not be on the beach unless they offered me like $35,000-$40,000 to go on. It's not happening.
That's fair enough. We can cut this. Mike, are you thinking the same person I am?
Oh, 1,000%.
On the count of 3, should we all say it?
We'll say it. We'll cut this. This will not make it, I promise you.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
No, not today. We don't expose our own, all right? We'll handle this in-house.
Yeah. Easy.
That was easy.
He's not the voice memo guy, right?
No.
Yeah, he's not a voice memo
He's not smart enough for that.
What was it like when you found out that last year it was canceled? Because it felt like your season was like a big season for Paradise. And it felt like your cast was going to be a great cast for Paradise. And all of a sudden it's canceled. How did you find out? And then how did kind of the girls take that?
Yeah, so like the conversation around Paradise was still very active and very present. It wasn't like active and present in the way of like producers were still reaching out, but like it was on the forefront of everybody's mind, especially we came off of one of the most successful Bachelor seasons in franchise history. Like we're at an all-time high. Golden was then, in that process of like going through their additional filming. And so we're like, there's no way they don't do Paradise. Like with this group of girls, we were kind of like, and then obviously like with potentially like Jen's guys that were going. And so there were rumors that were happening like all throughout like January and February of last year, so 2024, about like, yeah, Paradise is going to be in a new location. It's going to be in Thailand. Paradise, like all the rumors through, you know, Bachelor Nation's windmill were happening, and people were already talking about like, well, like, would you go on Paradise? Like, I would go on Paradise if you would go on Paradise. Conversations that were had, and like, then it was just, oh, we all found out like Paradise wasn't happening whenever the whole world found out that Paradise wasn't happening.
I think you told me Paradise wasn't happening. You might have spoiled that for me.
I might have knew it like a little bit earlier than like actually announcing it, but maybe I did spoil that.
Well, because I think you told me, you said Paradise isn't happening, and I took that as in it's not happening for you. Like, you're like, hey, I'm not doing it. And then like a week later, they canceled it, and I was like, oh, maybe that's what she meant. Like, it's actually
maybe I did spoil it. But like, it's always like in Bachelor Nation, like in that world, a no is never a no until it's actually like a public no, and a yes is never a yes until it's a public yes. And so for us being like, oh yeah, we heard like it's not happening, and then it's like, okay, when they actually said it's not happening. I know a lot of people were like, dang, like that sucks. A lot of the girls were super, super upset. And I know like some of the guys from charity season that were like hoping to go back on Paradise or whatever were kind of disappointed too. And like, I don't know. I think they could have still done Paradise. For sure, especially with like how Jen's season ended, just like, okay, let's film during this time, and then as soon as Grant's season finale is done, like, boom, we'll start airing that Paradise season to like get ratings back up. And so yeah, it was shocking, but I don't think anyone was like mad about it. I think everyone was like, dang, that sucks. I will say too, though, it is nuts because like when you go to the women tell all and stuff, a lot of times girls that are there, like they'll say and do things that like I never would anticipate or expect them to do or say. And like you're sitting, you know, in that studio, and you're just like, you're like right now, like you're trying to buy your ticket to go to Paradise. Like you're saying something, you're doing something that's memorable because like you want to go on Paradise, and like get your bag. I get it. But I remember that I was always just like, I don't know if I love that.
No.
Yeah. I feel like that's a thing for sure. I feel like I noticed that too. So the Paradise twist this year, do you know about it? And did you know before the rest of the world did last night?
We all found out. I messaged one of the girls who like is very wishy-washy on if she's gonna go, and like producers like really, really want her to go. And I like messaged her, and I think I don't know. Hold on, let me pull up exactly what it is.
I have a guess. I have a guess.
I have a guess too.
You can guess.
That was my guess.
Oh, that's right.
Leia.
No, Leia's 100% like locked in. She's
already there. She's already on the beach.
Yeah, and like
season, I'm just like
entertaining it. But she saw my Instagram story, and she's like, wait, what did I miss? And I said, Paradise is a mix of golden and normal people, LOL. And she said, oh dear God. And so no, it is truly as surprising to me. And like my sister again, so invested in reality TV. She texted me and she was like, Golden Paradise. And like, I was like, well, what do you mean? Like, I heard they might do a Golden Paradise. And she was like, no, like normal Paradise with the golden people on it. And I was like, what the hell? What? Like, and so that also just like further solidified, like, oh gosh, you know, but like, what are you talking about? And like, what's the premise? Like, what? Yeah. It's like, oh, you come down halfway through like a little young little beepy boppy thing, and then you'd be like, hey, Charles, do you want to go on a date?
Yeah.
Like,
hey, Charles is great.
Charles is a great
He's
hang.
great, but like, could you imagine just seeing any of these old men? And sorry, maybe because I'm a girl,
No.
like just like.
You're not wrong. We literally talked about this for 45
Like,
minutes last night. I
I
can't. What's the
like my
thought
dad.
process?
That's like me kissing my dad or like my grandpa.
There's no way it's
Yeah.
intermingling, right? It's got to
But
be
then,
two
like
separate
two
things.
separate beaches. Like
why?
But even
I
then,
kind
it's
of
just gonna be a lot of
'cause it-
storylines and a lot of stuff to follow.
it's hard to follow. Like giving advice. I don't know. I don't know. But
Go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
Okay, so the idea I had last night, which I've slept on it and I kind of like more, is they're gonna pair up old and young, and then they have to match make for each other. So like it's gonna be a complete challenge. It's not normal paradise. So let's say Leslie and Jonathan are paired up. Leslie has to find a match for Jonathan, or else she gets kicked off the beach. And then Jonathan has like a week to find a match for Leslie, or he gets kicked off the beach. That's the only way it works. They turn into some competition type way.
Maybe. See, I was thinking they would have like competitions of like this is how you actually get a date versus like, okay, producers say you go on a date and you go on a date, like some type of competition. And I also thought like maybe they would do group dates because like you can have an idea of someone, sure, but like some of these boys and girls be playing like cool boy, cool girl, and then you don't really know what they're really like until they're in like a big like group environment. And so I do feel like, especially because like the new producer that's taking over is coming from like Summer House and stuff. And I asked one of my friends that's on Summer House, like, do you know who this producer is? And he was like, I have no idea who that is. Because I was trying to get some intel. Like, is he super big into drama, or like is the beach going to be more like risque? Like Love Island has crazy views, right? Temptation Island, all of these things where like sex sells. And like, is that kind of the goal for Paradise now? I don't know, but I don't know how much sex is selling with these old men on the beach. Like, forget a sugar daddy. These are like glucose guardians at that point.
Wow.
How long have you been sitting on that one? That's a good one.
A while.
That's awesome.
A while.
Glucose Guardians.
That's so good.
Sounds like a baseball team. I know the Guardians are a baseball.
Yeah, it's like that's a AAA baseball team in the middle of Nebraska.
I just think like, oh, I gotta check my blood sugar levels. Hold on. Like they're gonna be glucose guardians. Be like, oh here, like oh my gosh, yeah. So I will probably definitely watch this next season of Paradise because I'm super curious about what's gonna happen. Like, what's the premise? Like, what's the plot gonna be? What's gonna be different? So TBD.
Yeah, I think that first episode or two is going to decide everything. People are going to tune into episode 1 just to see what the dynamic is. And if it sucks, ratings are going to drop. They will plummet.
I feel like my unprofessional opinion here is this season of Paradise is going to be make or break for the Bachelor franchise. I think if it's a flop, there will be no more Bachelor. Obviously, Bachelorette is canceled. Like, I truly think it is make or break for the franchise.
You know what's scary is I found out that the first ever guest I had on here was Dylan Barber. And this was 5 years ago. Oh, a little under 5 years ago. And he had a prediction on that podcast episode. He said the Bachelor franchise is going to be dead in 5 years. And we're getting close to it. And so I don't want him to be right. Just for the sake of he would hold that over me forever. Yeah. So I don't want him to be right. So I'm a little worried though. We're getting close.
You're getting So TBD. But
I kind of predicted that last night. I was like, this seems like a last ditch effort to kind of, I don't know, save the franchise with the golden and the young people and everything all together. But I feel like it's just going to go to the Hulu. It's just going to be off of like ABC. Yeah. And it's just because I don't know.
No, I agree. And like, there's talks too of like, because they've allegedly casted an entire season of guys for like, if they were going to have a Bachelorette season, And so there's been talks about like, well, some of those guys actually got an invite to go to Paradise too. So like new, fresh faces. Which I'm like, maybe, but I don't see how the golden aspect really fits into the beach unless the golden people like aren't going to be there dating and they're going to just be doing, I don't know,
pickleball, shuffleboard,
yoga.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, last Paradise question, and we'll get off of it. You talked about your list. I didn't realize they do a list of people you don't want to see there. What did those lists look like for you, if you don't mind sharing? This is
you want my
shoot your
list?
shot. Yeah, shoot your shot. Put it out there in the ether.
You hold on. I gotta pull up my list.
How long is this list?
The notes app.
It's not that long. Because for me, it's like people like, could I see something with them? What was the producer's name? That I sent it to? Oh, Caitlin.
I can't believe you're actually going to give us a list. I thought this was going to be a hard no, but we appreciate it.
I don't care. Oh, you my number one. I don't even know why. I'm like, wait, who was on my list? My number one person on my list also didn't get an invite to Paradise, but Austin Ott. I'm just like,
yes.
oh.
Can we make it happen?
We were on the fantasy draft.
Yeah.
What's that?
We were all in the fantasy draft together.
I know. And like literally, like I remember, guys, this is so creepy. This is so creepy. I like took a photo on the fantasy draft of Austin on the call, and I sent it to like all of my friends and like a couple girls in Bachelor Nation. I was like, if this man is not on the beach in Paradise, like I don't want to go. I might have it. I'm not showing you it actually.
I have the screen recording of that draft somewhere on this computer. So if this works out, we have you guys meeting.
Austin was my like number one on the list, and he's like, yeah, I didn't get an invite, but I remember being like, Austin and Autumn. I'm pretty sure he was on like everyone's list, but yeah, no, Austin was number one. I kind of thought like, let's spice it up. Let's bring back some like OG Bachelor Nation people. I said Greg Grippo. I think he would just not necessarily to date, but I'm like, I bet he'd be really fun on the beach to hang out with. He seems super funny. Recent people from the season, I put Spencer Conley.
Yeah.
I'm just like, honestly, I would just like to have Spencer on the beach to like give me workout routines because dude's massive. I actually did put Sean on my list. But because I love Sean, I was like, I want to see Sean on the beach. I was like, honestly, if you want views to be at, bring Jason Tardik back. Like, people just love him. Like, bring him back. You'll bring back the people that like stopped watching whenever what's his name was no longer the host.
Chris
Harrison.
Yes, thank you. And so that who I don't want to see, and I put. These boys give me F-boy vibes, not hubby vibes.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to share this list because I don't want to like hurt anyone's feelings.
You can share it, and then if you decide to like cut it, we can cut it.
One of the people on the list did message me, and it was should I play the Instagram? Recording?
I'm not gonna say no to that, but as your coach, I would advise probably not to.
Maybe after
on my podcast. Yeah.
Maybe after we hit end.
Yeah, after we were done recording.
Yeah, I will after you guys are recording. That's good. I should know that. I was a reporter once. Thomas in.
Yeah, fair.
Valid.
No,
he's been kind to me post show. But I understand.
I'm sure he's straight. Gives me F boy. I did put Sam M on my list. And part of that is just because the amount of people who have been in my DMs and my comments of like, you and Sam M would be perfect. Or people that would be like, like Autumn and Sam M, they're going to be like your typical like Southern couple, whatever. And I'm just like, no. So that's more out of retaliation and like, I don't know, kind of still gives me F.
Keep the main thing the main thing.
The main. I don't think he didn't really appreciate you all. Like he didn't embrace it
He
the
came
way
around. He came around.
Yeah. It took a hot second, but like
It took Austin getting 500,000 views in our
yeah.
birthday.
And then so he's like, oh, okay. I put John B. And you also had to say like, who you've met before from Bachelor Nation. And so really only the guys from charity season, a few of them, but like never hung out with any of them. Really. So yeah, not like that exciting of I put Dale Moss on it
Oh
on
yeah.
my list of people I'd like to see because like, oh, like that could be someone new. But yeah, they're just like there aren't really a lot of guys in Bachelor Nation. When I made my list, it's like, oh, actually, maybe I shouldn't go on here. So that was my list. Nothing too riveting. I do.
I can't believe you
Y'all,
shared it, so I appreciate
After
it.
last night, you're welcome. I think Clayton is gonna be on the beach.
Oh, good call.
Let's see
Clayton,
it. Let's
mark
see
my
it.
words. Clayton is gonna be on the beach, and like I like giving all the girls dance lessons, and like y'all because right they had him at AFR.
Yeah. To give advice
So-
when he
so-
fumbled his finales
Does that
more
mean
than
Gary?
anyone has ever done that.
Does that mean
Maybe-
Gary's going to be on the beach too?
Oh no.
And so like I definitely think they will have Clayton on the beach, and two because like when I was making my list, the producer was like thinking like about like like you can think of old bachelors like Clayton, he's single, and I'm like,
Ooh.
and they're cute because he's from like the St. Louis area, like St. Louis. I'm like, sure. But no, I do think Clayton's gonna be on the beach.
That's a good call. I like that. We'll clip
Mhm.
that and hopefully you're right.
So I am right. I think.
Okay.
I feel
All
very
right.
I feel very confident in that.
Yeah.
There. But yeah. Woo! Golden Paradise.
Yeah. I can't wait.
I wonder if it's going to air at the same time as Love Island. That's the one thing that like. Are they going to try to push it out before Love Island? Because like
So filming
Love Island was
starts-
huge.
Shh, that's on the record.
That's yeah.
Reality Steve probably already knows. But
Don't well, I gotta bleep that. We can't mention that name on this podcast. He's
so
sworn enemy number one.
yeah, so but no, filming is soon and like it's only a month long and like they can edit everything in 2 weeks.
Really?
So I feel like June,
That'd be
like
nice.
late June, I feel like is when they'll probably have it premiere.
All right.
So
What's the update on your fantasy football punishment? Are we ever gonna get that?
thinking about that. I was actually thinking about that when I was in Scottsdale 2 weekends ago. I was like, I gotta film myself doing the NFL combine. But like I want to do it. Like I need someone who like actually film it and like get like fun like angles and get us into it like as they're filming me as like I'm gonna get into it because I'm fully gonna commit to the bit with it. And so I just like all of my friends, like most of my friends are like not in St. Louis. And I kind of want to do it on a beach. I actually
Okay.
thought like before Paradise, like, oh, I'll do like my NFL combine on the beach.
Oh.
But then I was like, oh, running in the beach in a swimsuit. I'm not Pamela Anderson. I can't do that. So then I thought like, let me just go to Oklahoma. I'm friends with our athletic director's son and just do it like on like our field, like in our training facility or something. But I am in Iowa every week and my weekends are always crazy. And so I do need to do my fantasy football draft punishment. Maybe that's why Austin hasn't slid in my DMs. He was like, this girl terrible fantasy team. I think I only updated my players, like my roster, like 3 times the entire season because I would forget. That's an excuse, and I shouldn't say that. I just suck. So it'll come. It'll come whenever y'all least expect it.
Okay. We'll be ready.
To happen. Yeah. So it'll hit. Audie Wags' NFL Combine will drop before the end of May.
Okay. I'm gonna hold you to that. And can we lock you in for the league next year? Are you dropping out?
I will, because remember, the comeback is better than the setback.
There we go. Perfect.
Yes.
All right, we'll wrap up here with a few kind of just random questions, and we also have a few from our producers who couldn't be here tonight.
Okay.
First one, can we just clear up the Young Gravy stuff? Because what was that? That was like a crazy like multiverse of madness type thing.
I know. I don't know if it was good for my brand. It's funny because the amount of people that asked me about it. So Young Gravy, his name is Matt. We had a mutual friend, and Young Gravy was supposed to go to this baseball game with Bobby Altoff, like that influencer, and do like a whole bit. They were supposed to do a whole bit together. And she like bailed last minute. And so like our mutual friend is like lives in Kansas City now. And so Matt like reached out to him and was like, hey, like, do you know any girls in St. Louis that would like come to the Cardinals game with me, that like would be a fun time to like be around? Like, I would like for them to be pretty. And he was like, I only know one girl in St. Louis that I think would be down for this and like not be a super fan and like not be weird about it. And so Wyatt, and literally, you guys remember whenever we were drafting our fantasy teams? I was like, hold on, wait a dang minute. What? It was then.
Yeah, you literally got the message as we were drafting, right?
Yeah. And I was like, wait, why did Young Gravy just follow me? And so he like sends me like a message and it's like, I had this Cardinal thing. And I was like, I don't know. And I was in Iowa and he was like, the game's tomorrow. And then I have like a concert tomorrow night, whatever. And I was like, oof, I don't think this is good for my brand. So then I called Daisy and I was like, what would you do? And she's like, you have to do it. Like you have like one or two things. You're going to do it and you're going to love it and be like, this was like the craziest, funnest thing I did. Or you're going to go and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is awful. And so I did it. I did it for the plot. And like, I had a great time. He's very different in person than like a social media presence. His mom and I, besties, got like an invite to Thanksgiving. She texts me occasionally. She told me like, you're the only girl I approve of for Matt.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh no, we're not. Absolutely not. Respectfully. And no, like now we're just friends. Like if I go out to LA or anything, I'll be like, hey, like I'm gonna be in LA. He went to summer camp in Missouri too. And so like he's very familiar with Missouri, and like it's like weird the amount of like mutual connections like we have through it. But yeah, that's how Young Gravy happened. No, we're not dating. No, we didn't date. No, like nothing intimate at all. Are y'all kidding me? I like cowboys. I like cowboys.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's how it all unfolded and transpired.
Wow. What a story. What a story to tell one day.
Yes.
Tell the kids.
I know. I could have been Mama Gravy.
Mama Gravy.
Mama Gravy. Miss Gravy.
Miss Gravy.
No, that's his mom's name in my phone.
Mama Gravy.
So
That rules.
great question.
Of course. I just had to clear that up.
Thank you.
What is your Mount Rushmore of Oklahoma football players?
Oh, okay. This is such a good question. Obviously, Baker Mayfield. I love Baker Mayfield. Awesome human, like just awesome guy. Like cares about his community. Baker's great. We love him. Honestly, I'm gonna take Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts as an Oklahoma because I mean he played for us and then he got drafted after playing for us, and like I'm gonna take Jalen Hurts. Also, great guy. You know, maybe once upon a time, like Sam Bradford, just because when he was at Oklahoma, won the Heisman and then was drafted by the Rams. I was, St. Louis Rams before they left. And so I'd probably throw Sam Bradford on there, just like honorable mention of my Mount Rushmore. But if you think like,
so is he on there or not? So we have Hurts, Mayfield, maybe Bradford.
Yeah, I'll keep Bradford. I'll keep Bradford on there.
Kyler
Kyler Murray, no. Dylan Gabriel, no.
Wide receiver? What wide receiver? You think what I'm thinking?
CeeDee Lamb.
He's dog.
Hollywood Brown.
CeeDee. I would put Creed Humphrey on my Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
little teddy bear.
Not glamorous pick.
Sorry,
but
I thought you guys asked me
offensive.
about my Mount Rushmore of Oklahoma quarterbacks. Was it just
No,
of Oklahoma
just
Oh.
football
players?
players. Just football players.
Oh.
Does that
That
change it?
changes everything.
A little bit.
Or just
Wait, you guys
sports.
are putting me on a nice spot. Definitely, Baker is still
Okay.
going to be on there for sure. Jalen, I'm gonna take off of it.
Okay.
Probably Hollywood Brown.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like that pick.
CD. I didn't really like CD in college.
There's one running back that if you don't pick, I'm gonna actually be mad at you.
Adrian Peterson.
Of course.
Yeah.
Is he on there?
Yeah. No, he's on there.
That's
Oh
fair.
yeah, he's on there. Think, hold on. I'm like literally thinking back to like whenever I was in college, which is literally forever ago at this point.
It wasn't that long ago.
I know, but like when I was in college, it was like we were like Heisman you and running back you. Like it was just crazy.
Yeah. We probably overlapped college for like at least 2 years, like the years. What were we, Mike? 18 to 22?
No, 16 to 20.
Okay, so we were 18 to 22. You were, so we, yeah.
So
Your
we,
junior
yeah.
and
Oh yeah,
senior
yeah. So
crossed
a
over.
couple of years of an overlap there. You guys are really putting me on the spot. Hold on, I have to think. I can't think of anyone's names right now.
The best part about this is that
Blake
everyone
Griffin.
listening, like maybe 2 people listening are like, I know Oklahoma football like that.
Like,
That's like
yeah.
the niche we have. We have this weird little sports niche within Bachelor Nation.
Okay. But we'll put Creed Humphrey. Yeah, locked
Okay.
him with Creed.
So wait, Creed, Hollywood Brown, Baker, AP?
Yeah,
There's 4. That's your Mount Rushmore.
There we go.
that's
There
my
we
Mount
go.
Rushmore.
I like it.
That's it. That's it.
Okay. So one last sports question. Who would win in a tennis match? Wyatt or Joey?
I just feel like current state, I feel like you go either way. Joey's been doing a lot of dancing. Has he been fresh on his tennis skills? I don't know. If Wyatt's putting in the work every day, potentially he could do it. If I bet my last dollar on it, I would probably give it to Joey, respectfully, Wyatt.
Insane. It's insane.
Love ya.
Autumn. No, that's insane.
I
The
know.
numbers back me up. I coach tennis every single day. It's
I
my
know.
job. He was a
It's just
0 star coming out of high school. I was a 4-star athlete, not to pat my own back. I'll kick his ass. Sorry.
I want to see that happen. Like I want to see you two play.
He's scared. He commented. You saw it. He commented, "Hey, let's make this happen," and then he ghosted me for Dancing with the Stars.
Which is fair.
I mean, he got paid a lot more money.
I will. Hey, I can't pay him anything, but yeah, I need you to pull some strings to make that match happen because I'm still gunning for him.
Okay, yeah, you should.
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
Yeah. Make it happen.
And then what side of TikTok are you on? I think that she means just like
Is that? Oh, that's a Charlotte question. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I don't know what niche TikTok, I don't know, algorithm. If you even scroll like that.
It's weird. I'm not really on TikTok that much. I'm more of an Instagram reel person. But like here lately, it's been like really sad, like love TikToks.
Like the poetry?
Yes. It was just
I'm
like
on that.
in like a beach or a sunset.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like dagger to my heart. And also old people TikTok where it's like old people in relationships like dancing on balconies. They're like driving in the same car together, like holding hands at breakfast, just like
Golden Paradise. Golden Paradise.
There you go. It's right there.
Getting you ready.
Like, what's up, Dada?
Bring me that money.
So my TikTok algorithm is like literally all over the place. I really am not even on my For You page. I just look at like the TikToks of the girls I follow.
Fair enough.
from the show.
All right.
So,
2 more questions. These are again submitted from our producer Charlotte, who could not be here. So don't hold me accountable for these questions. I don't think this one makes sense to me, but maybe it'll make sense to you. This is either or. Woman
Okay.
in STEM or woman in an ice bath.
Good question.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either. I'm gonna go woman in ice bath.
Okay.
I'm gonna go woman in ice. Oh,
Woman in ice bath.
Okay. And then the final question for you. And I don't know if you've watched Gilmore Girls, but are you team Dean, team Jess, or team Logan? I don't know what that means either.
I've never watched Gilmore Girls, but I feel like Dean I've seen stuff about, so I'm going to go team Dean. My parents were so conservative and strict growing up, like I didn't get to watch TV. It's shocking how normal I turned out.
Fair enough. All right. Those are all the questions Charlotte has. Those are all the questions I have. Michael, anything else you want to ask Autumn before we let her off the hot seat here?
Nah, I'll let her free.
Okay. This was basically a 1 hour long. Hey, let's get Austin in the DMs. So Austin, if you're watching, you know what to do. So pay attention.
He's
Lock
not,
in.
respectfully,
Dude.
he's not going to slide into my DMs.
BachMakers
I've tried.
play
Like
that
I
game.
have tried sliding in his DMs, and it's just cricket. So we're just gonna.
Well, hey, the shooter's got to shoot. Keep shooting. Keep putting shots up.
Shoot.
Thanks for watching this episode of BachMakers. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider joining our Patreon page linked in the description below. It's $5, cup of coffee, and it helps support us a ton. Thank you, and maybe we'll see you next week.
Yeah, and from next week on the BachMakers, we shave Wyatt's head off.
Maybe. Only one way to find out.
By tuning in.
That was implied.
Back to you in the studio.
And cut.
Thanks, Julianne.